Yes, yes. Welcome to Chatting Up the Chick. It's me, your host, Chris the Chick, all the way here in Cluckenham Palace. As per usual, I've tried to move, but just the real estate agent said to me, Chris, your house is unsellable, which is a fair comment because it's not very nice. But I digress. I digress. This week, I am going to be talking about a very important subject, and I want to use a story to elaborate why I think this is such an important subject. So, this goes on from one of my last episodes regarding how we use terminology, and I was using the idea of third world countries and how I think that we kind of pacify the whole idea of a third world country and not really say what it actually is, and that is um, an economically oppressed country. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, which is not unusual, go back, listen to episode 28. I think it is. Who knows? 29. I think this is episode 30. Who knew? Who would have believed it? Eh? No one cares. So, but I keep going because I love chatting to myself. But I wanted to move along the same kind of lines, where we need to start reframing certain ideas and certain concepts in this world that are pacified by a way of describing what's happening. And so what tends to happen is that people don't really understand what the major issue is. And one thing I've come across here in New Zealand, at the moment, we are in the middle of what is called whitebait season. Now, whitebaiting here in New Zealand is a pastime where fishermen go down to the rivers, and it's not like your typical kind of fly fishing or reel fishing or spinning or anything like that. It's just basically almost like big nets in the water, and you're catching all these little fish, and then obviously taking them out by the kilo, or I'm not sure how much per person catches because I've never done it myself. But it's quite the commodity, and it's one of the big things of the whitebait season is a lot of people do it to make money. So you'll see people selling whitebait on the side of the road, making whitebait sandwiches and all manner of things. So yeah, it's turned into quite a big thing. But here's my issue, and it's not an old issue because there's a lot of things being said in New Zealand with regards to the whitebait season and how we're basically raping and pillaging our rivers of fish. Um, and obviously the knock-on effects of how if you take one thing out of the ecology, that there's a massive knock-on effect for the rest of the ecology of freshwater sources and stuff like that. But there's two things I wanted to say about this, and the first one is there's this kind of idea or understanding that whitebait is a certain type of fish. Now, I know this to be true because I used to think the same thing. Whereas that's not actually true. Whitebait is, in essence, baby fish um, that have spawned at the beginning of spring, and then they'll obviously be going around the rivers, growing and finding their way, and as animals do. But the issue here is it's not just any baby fish. It's actually um, there's 5 species that make up whitebait, and 4 of those species are actually endangered. So in essence, what's happening is people are catching endangered baby fish by the truckloads. And I don't know about you listening, but I have a problem with that because we're already creating a mass extinction throughout the world by our overconsumption, our need to rape and pillage Mother Earth for all her goodies so we can make a few dollars so we can go and get, I don't know, more crap that comes out of the ground and all the natural resources that we use to get stuff that inevitably never makes us happy, because the source of happiness in this world is not through gaining stuff but through relationships and doing what's right in this world to make a better world. I think I've made my point. But yeah, I just want to highlight this notion of, and I, I, the last thing I want to do is, I don't want to get on the wrong side of whitebaiters, because there's some people who go whitebaiting and they're not over consuming. They go down there maybe once, twice, three times in a season, maybe catch some for food or whatever. Like, for me, that's not the issue. Like, I'm not saying to people they can't go fishing. Of course you can. Like, you know, some people need to go fishing because that's their source of food. Like, I understand that. But when you're going fishing because you want to make money at the expense of endangered fish species, then sometimes you have to take stock and stop and think, if I continue, there's not going to be anything. And I don't know how to proclaim this in a way where it doesn't sound condescending, or it doesn't sound mean, or it doesn't sound like I'm out for blood, because I'm not. This is more this. I feel a sense of resignation inside of me because I don't do this stuff, and I don't want to point the finger at people and say you shouldn't be doing that because I don't do it. I'm resigned because I see what it's leading to. I see how we overconsume all this good stuff at the detriment of everything. Like, I don't know if people understand how important every single living thing, whether it's a fish, a tree, a mosquito, for crying out loud, why would Chris be bigging up the mosquitoes? Everything has its place within the ecology of this world. You take it out of the ecology of that ecosystem, you have an issue, because then the ecosystem starts to fail because the equilibrium has been bent in half, so to speak. Yeah, I don't know what else to say on this subject. Again, I just feel a resignation of, I'm not hopeless. It's not hopelessness inside me, but it's a resignation of a disappointment in we as a human species and how blinded we are to how much damage we do, even though we think what we're doing isn't that bad. And again, it comes to this whole idea of the terminology we use. Let's stop calling it whitebait and let's start calling it what it is: threatened baby fish. Now, could you imagine that? That would cause a big stir within, especially New Zealand circles. Right, I'm done. Smash bang wallop, get that one out. I hope you enjoyed it. Look, if you disagree with me, please tell me where I'm wrong. I'm happy to listen to other voices, but I just wanted to get that out there in the world because it's been bugging me. You know what I mean? Bugging me. Yes, yes. Big up.